This is the nature of all these little weird, thrown in the dark, glow in the dark leftists that Soros and all them are boiling out. But you ask yourself, why are they so arrogant? Why don't they stop when they're so pathetic? Because Soros hasn't been stopped. Obama hasn't been stopped. And Pelosi and all these Chi-Com agents. And so they're going to make their move on Trump. They're going to push it so far that they're all going to get cleaned out constitutionally. They're the police state. They're the tyranny. Under law, us clearing out enemies and those that want to destroy the country, that's called justice. And believe me, it's coming one way or another. No matter what you to me or Trump or anybody else. We have the Second Amendment. We have the truth. You're done. Hour 2 coming up.
With gun theft on the rise, it's crucial that law-abiding citizens hide their guns from criminals who are now becoming desperate. Learn exactly how with the newly updated Hide Your Guns e-manual, written by a former U.S. Special Forces officer who now reveals his field-tested secrets. Whether it's sneaky ways to hide your guns in plain sight or using extremely clever hiding places that even skilled thieves will never suspect. Learn how to hide other valuables too, like cash, gold coins, credit cards, so that they're safe from thieves, but back in your hand.
Try that again. I'll see if we get a little better. Well, you're about as good as you're going to get, I guess. Just here, try it again. Is that good? Try again. There you go. I wasn't pushing the right knob. Okay, now everybody out there can, oh, look at this, we're getting pop up all over the place. Okay, kids, need a sit rep. How we sound? Are we coming around okay? A little bit of a buzz, but 5x4, okay. The buzz you're probably hearing is probably the radio transmitter. I tried to remember that before, or remind you that before. There isn't much we can do about that. We've got to look, let's see something here. Does the buzz go away when I move these things down? Because I want it to be as good as we can get. But the fact that you're hearing us is the most important thing. And we are live. And I see Uncle Bob, Winter, a little bit of a buzz, that's Demi, okay, sorry about that, Amy, but audio good. Red Cow 34, who are you? I don't want to sound numb, but Red Cow, who are you? And Martin, thank you, you were the first one to hit the button, so we will keep looking and seeing what's going on. And, just from the, yeah, okay. Listen, guys, I finally think I figured out why we weren't able to broadcast after I brought this thing down here with the sound. I found it by accident. Here about 2 weeks ago, or maybe a little longer, we had a power outage due to a storm that came through. And when that TV came back on, brought the picture up, but the time on the clock was wrong, and when they had the menu was wrong. In other words, the clock was off by 4 hours, and the menu was set back to 4 hours. So you had to figure out how far ahead you were on these things. So
Okay.
I saw that, and I said, well, gee, and I picked up my phones. My phones were dead. Well, gee, usually whenever power goes out, my phones don't go dead because they're on separate.
Most of the cell tower got taken out.
Yeah. Okay, so I went into my other computer room where my laptop is, where the modem from the Armstrong sets. This little tower got a bunch of little lights. You don't even have half the lights lit. Okay. So on the top, there's a reset button. I've got my little reset tool that I have, and I just and sit back and watch it do its thing. Fire came on, phones came on, the time on the clock on the cable box was right, and the program's menu was right with what was being shown. So I come down here and I'm going, I wonder. Oh, I come down here and proceeds to play around with this. And I know you kids can't see it, but down here is a tiny microphone with a series of dots. Ding, 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 ding. Before, when I was trying to broadcast, we were only getting one dot. Nobody could hear us. After pushing that reset button, we have 3 dots, sometimes 4, depending on what we get for an octave. And when I did that, somebody chimed in, you were coming across, we hear you. There's the bell. Okay. So, the first thing I do is I check this. Now, if I were to come down here tonight, and I want to go live and I couldn't get that, I'd go back up there and push the reset button. It'd take about 5 minutes to go through the whole thing all over again, but and then get back on there. So, boy, the chat's coming through like crazy. I don't know about how you guys have been doing all summer because we've been down, but I've been burning stumps. In fact, I got one out here that's still smoking after 48 hours. And I had another one. Get this. Remember that rain we had on Saturday and Sunday, or Monday and or Saturday and Monday?
We had rain, we didn't.
Yeah. So there was about a 3-day rain.
Well, we had rain one day this week. We had like a half-inch rain. Next couple of days were just like passing showers.
No, we were the same way. We didn't get a ton of rain, but I mean it rained for a couple hours at a stretch. One of my mountains or stumps stayed burning through all that rain. It burned for 4 days until we got one of them real heavy downpours. And that finally put it out. I went out there and there is a crater where the stump burnt down below the ground, so I got to fill that crater in. I lit another one yesterday. Today's Sunday. I lit another one on Friday. It's still smoking.
Yeah, I threw it out of my truck. I smelled it.
So I have pairs of Mount Vesuvius in my yard. I have a great big huge one that's up there I've been working at. It's maple, and it's been burning quite a bit, but it's now down to where I got to scrape the dirt away from the roots to expose the next layer of it. But it's gotten so blasted hot. Plus, the township has been awfully good to me. Last week, I got 6 dump truck loads of firewood from the township dumped in my yard. Okay.
We just had a few trees down.
Yeah. So yesterday, my grandson and one of his friends started out. Just mother and I were out there, and so I said, Randall's been telling us that his phone hasn't been working right, so I says, let's go give him a call just in case. He didn't get the messages where I kept, telling him about the wood being found up there. So he said, I'll be right out. He was doing his schoolwork for his apprenticeship program that he's in. So he said, I'll get a friend of mine and we'll come out and we'll get right at it. So Mother and I worked for about 2 hours and he showed up and he brought his one friend. So the three of us worked together at wading through this pile of wood. And then he finally got another friend, Jake, who's been here before, and he came out and they told me to sit down. This was about noon. I was about burned out. I used up all my juice. So you just sit down and you supervise. Well, they went through that pile of wood, not done, but you see how much we got split? You see the pile that's already cut up into splittable chunks? And then there's still quite a bit there that has to be cut there, because they're too big. We're debating whether we're thinking about turning the log splitter upright and using it to go down and split them that way, just roll it in. Then put them in my horse and cut them in half. Because I'd rather have small pieces, so when it's not really extremely hot, I can still have a fire and keep it extremely cold.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't cold, like I said, if it gets cold, you just add another piece of wood. So, I have probably, if it would all dry out, I should have enough. Just an estimate of what they brought to finish up, to be able to do this year and have enough to do next year. I hope. But we'll be working on that, and we'll see how far it gets. Tomorrow, Mother and I got to start stacking up some of it in the morning before it gets too cold. I think while she's stacking, I'm going to run the splitter, because they cut the pieces now small enough that I can go through a bunch of them.
I know they're calling for us about 90 tomorrow, so.
Oh, is that what they're calling for temperature?
Down my way, yeah.
Yeah, that's about what it'll be here.
I gotta finish. Well, I did backyard yesterday. I did around the fence line for one pasture behind the house. I got a little more than half the pasture cut on Saturday. I gotta finish it tomorrow, and then I think Tuesday is our first chance of storms again. So we'll get that cut, and then start on another pasture when it dries out.
Well, Scotty Grinnell was supposed to come, and he called me on Friday and said he was going to be here unless something happened. And this afternoon, after getting back from the undisclosed location, we got the bathtub in, and we got a couple water lines connected for the bathtub. But the only problem is the drain pipe, the drain connector, is bad on the tub, so we got to take that out and get a new one of those. So, but we got it insulated. We got the plastic liner put in as far as the first liner. So now we got the tub basically set. Just fix that drain pipe. Put the front on the front of the tub so it goes to the floor. Then put the plastic liner around the back of around the tub for the shower. We're ready to go. Once we get that room closed, repairs done on the walls and stuff now. The rest of it is just a patch up in 2 rooms. The rest will be done. Water's running. We got water. We got toilet facilities. So we don't have to run the water yet, but we will have to get the water tested before we use it.
Well, I finally got in the end of June my stimulus money. Anyway,
You finally got your stimulus money?
Yeah, finally got it. Went out and ordered a trailer behind my UTV. It came with a little crane and a winch, and so I'm going to use that to. I got two piles of wood yet. I got to bring up to the house, and rocks to move. So I'm going to use that. That helped move everything.
Well, that's something else that I did this summer while we were broke down here, guys. I put a stone wall, retainer wall in to cut the bank back so we can have my driveway, for our concrete driveway in. Well, the first year was fine. The second year, the frost got to it and started pushing it over. So last year, I got a pair of jacks and I jacked it back in place. Okay, dug a trench. And boy, I'll tell you what, the electric rototiller, little 8-inch jobby, boy, did that make it so much easier than standing there with a pick and then shovel. All I did was run the rototiller, threw a bunch of dirt off the side. And after I got so far, I took the shovel and the back of my little trailer that I bought for $25. And
my trailer used up all my stimulus money. I helped stimulate the economy.
So yeah, well, my stimulus check went to pay my taxes. I had $400 left, so I bought me a steel chainsaw, home version, for little stuff. Never anticipated this. But I'll tell you what, thing starts. But anyway, so finally I dug the trench out, got one of them rock hammers.
Oh, okay.
Dug out from underneath the wall, halfway. So when I jacked it, it would tip. So it would tip back into its place. Well, after I got it back into place, there was about 2 inches of gap underneath. So that got filled with concrete. And that got left set all winter long, and the wall didn't budge, of course. We didn't have as cold and nasty weather as we had, but still, it did not budge.
Sure.
So the last 2 weeks, Mother and I know it's more expensive to do it that way. Mother and I got crushed marble, and put behind the wall. We have a marble French drain, basically what it is. Okay. So if the ground should freeze, the marble will go like this, and then as the ground retracts, the marble should theoretically sink down. And if it don't, it'll take many years for the dirt. I'll be dead and gone by then. So, I could have bought the marble probably for a lot cheaper by going over and buying it in bulk in one of the places. Put it in my trailer. I had a trailer, I could have hauled it. But I looked at it this way. I'd have to shovel it out of the trailer and into the trench. So if I go buy smaller bags that I can wrestle, I'll go get the bags and I'll just stack them up on the wall and take a knife and rip them open and dump them. Much less physical beatness. It took 55 bags at $3.50 a bag.
Oh,
okay.
Not cheap.
But it would have probably been pretty close to the same if I went over with the trailer and probably had to get a yard.
Concrete.
Like a yard of concrete. I'd had to get a yard because 55 bags. Each one of them did a half a cubic foot. So half of 55 is 27. How many cubic feet are in a yard? 27. Okay. So anyhow, that's regular. I'm broke. Yes, I'm broke. And you kids didn't know you didn't know I got a speeding ticket neither. Over the over the 4th of July. Oh, it's been long enough for Mr. T to teach the bear to dance. Well,
Who's that?
that was Emmy.
Amy, I haven't seen the bear in a long time.
No, that's a good possibility. He ate the bear and didn't tell nobody. I know if I got the bear, I wouldn't tell nobody because, well, up here in PA, if you go bear hunting and you're lucky enough to harvest a bear, you have to take it to a bear check station.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which may be many miles from where you're hunting.
Yeah. There's only about 10, I think, in the state.
Well, Crawford's got one. And Erie's got one.
But there again, like I said,
if it's on a warm day, the clock is ticking. You get that bear out of the woods, and hopefully you can get it out by yourself with help. But then you're going to get to the check station because they don't stay open 24/7. They're going to get there before they close, and then take it home and have something cut up fast. And
skin it now.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know.
Fair enough. They got more check stations now than they had when I was younger and was going bear hunting. But then I wised up. If I'm going hunting in the snow, it's not going to be bear. I mean, I'm not going to be bear.
Yeah, it gets a little cold.
But they only had like 5 or 6 check stations back then. And depending where you were, you had to drive as many as 60 to 100 miles.
And hope it's cold out, the bear doesn't start decomposing. Last year was a warm bear season, I remember.
Crawford County, I know we're not really getting to the news, but that's okay because I was short on news.
Well, I brought a few notes. So
and we can always bring this down and go to bookmarks and bring up World Net Daily, but I don't want to do that until we folks are running out.
I've got to check that today.
But what was I going to play?
Bear check station.
Yeah, there was only about 5 or 6 bear stations. We had to, some of them were 100 miles away, depending on where you were at. And that's a 2-hour drive.
Or longer depending on the road conditions.
Yeah, then you could get there depending on how many people. Oh, I know I was starting to say Crawford County. For years and years and years, you couldn't hunt bear in Crawford County because there weren't no bear in Crawford County.
There are now.
Yeah.
There have been.
Yeah. No, there have been. But when the first couple of bears been sighted in Crawford County, you still couldn't hunt. Not in Crawford County. You had to go east of Titusville. Okay, to hunt bear. Well, all of a sudden, I read one year, Crawford County had 17 bear harvest. I said, 17? Holy shit, how'd that herd get so damn big?
I think reproduction helps.
Yeah. Well, yeah, reproduction and not shooting them, not hunting.
That too.
So, but if you want to go bear hunting, if you want to go hunting, Pennsylvania's got a license for you to hunt just about everything. And if you're really good at hunting, you can get a bounty hunter's license and you can go hunt cooks to escape, or not escape, but skip their hearings. So, like I said, Pennsylvania's got a license to hunt everything. Anyway, you got any updates you want to give the kids since you were gone for a while?
Let's see. I and one of my daughters and her husband escaped from Pittsburgh and moved to up in the Lawrence County, Newcastle area. So they're out of that terrible blue area down here, full of virus and restrictions and all that too. The day we were moving them, which had to be July 4th weekend, saw some really strange people in Pittsburgh. And that was just after Commissar Wolf put he and his buddy Dick Levine about wearing masks outside, and of course that was clarified as to what that meant, but that particular Saturday I was out there, I could not believe all the people outside walking the sidewalks, bicycling, wearing masks. Now, we were supposed to wear masks while moving furniture and stuff. That didn't last long. You know, like, forget this, I'm not wearing this mask, hauling this stuff out in my truck.
Something, not to interrupt you, but something that just came to me from Emmy. So, ammonium nitrate for Baruch or a tactical nuke?
Well, there's no EMP recorded as far as you know, no radioactivity, so don't think it was nuke. Now, you take fertilizer and lots of it, yeah, it will blow up. There's some.
It's been sitting there for several years too.
I know, it's like 2,700 tons. Well, but yeah, there's I forget where in Texas there was something similar that this when it blew and destroyed a lot of things, killed people. There are actually reports. I actually saw film footage of one, a U.S. Navy munitions ship during World War II got hit by a kamikaze. And it exploded much like Beirut exploded. Okay. Same thing was one of the U.S. munition ships. I think one also happened in the U.S. while it was being loaded.
Down in Texas somewhere.
I think that was that. And then there was one in I can't remember, Italy or Corsica that way. There was a German munition ship that hadn't been offloaded yet, get hit by a bomb from B-17 and blew up. And the shock wave was such that the bombers are 20 to 25,000 feet. It rocked them. And very similar to a nuclear blast. A lot of stories about what's in there. Was it just fertilizer or was it other things? You probably never know exactly the correct
from the
story.
size of that blast,
And a big crater.
Because it's probably incinerated. Plus the fact, I don't know the diameter, but I saw the aerial footage of the pier where it was.
Yeah.
They showed it before the explosion, then after
And a big hole with water in it.
There's half the pier's gone.
Yeah, the water. I'm trying to think. It was like, I just saw it the other day. I can't remember. Someplace like 250 miles away, or maybe it's kilometers, saw the mushroom cloud, basically, the word, almost, I think, from the explosion. That's how far up the air.
Yeah, the second explosion from the video that I saw of the second explosion looked very much like a nuke.
Well, yeah, that'll happen, because we think
it come out of a white cloud like mushroom head, and then all of a sudden it went up. But there was a brown looking or whatever you want before the explosion.
And there was a fire someplace else nearby and whatever, I mean, I know there's the official story or stories going around, and a lot of conjecture, and we'll probably never know the truth is exactly what was there. But it wouldn't surprise me at all. There was just munitions as well as fertilizer being used for explosive purposes. But
it probably was eventually destined to fall in the hands of terrorists. That's speculation.
Well,
but the Russians dumped it there several years ago.
Maybe.
because there's something wrong with the ship that was carrying it.
Well, that's one story, but there's other
that's the story that they've been pushing about.
Now remember, 2,700 tons of amyl nitrate is like 2.7 kilotons nuclear blast. So, it'd be interesting really to find out what actually happened. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, it's saying Lebanon will be short of food this year, and now Turkey's money is going hyper. Let me tell you this, kids, in this country right now, gold and silver are going hyper.
I think gold is $3,000 an ounce.
No, last I checked was Friday. I think
I heard this recently is around $3,000 an ounce.
2,100.
Yeah,
They expect it to get $3 before long. Silver. That was what I did with what was left of my stimulus check. I bought 8 silver eagles at $20 an ounce. Silver is now was at $33 or $34 an ounce, and those eagles are like $40 a piece if you want to buy them. So just let it keep on going. I'll replenish my fortune. But the other thing,
how many decades?
The other thing is, kids, ammo. You have to jump on any ammo buys if you can when it's available, because ammo is sort of on the short supply. And with these things that I'm hearing and seeing on the internet, I don't think it's going to get any better. And even reloading components, the bullets for reloading are in short supply. So if you can get a hold of that stuff, get it. Buy 22s if nothing else. Buy 22s till they come out your ear, till you have a garage full. Because if they keep pushing this shit, wrong group. If the commies keep pushing this shit that they're doing, we're going to be in a full-fledged revolution. We are so close.
Hold on, I thought. Not this past week, but the week prior, I ordered ammunition, mainly hunting ammo, from Cheaper Than Dirt, what I could afford. And from Natchez, I'm trying to think, Tennessee, anyway. It took a week for Cheaper Than Dirt to get their stuff to me, and a week and a half for Natchez to shop. I got the ammo, and I'm going to be looking for some more. So, but we just had a revolution. There was talk, Democrat, and I don't know how serious this is, actual this is. They might try to get the West Coast to secede from the Union, or just do a civil war prior to the election. So there is, and keep this in mind, come January 20th, there's going to be a president. Now, if the election is still in doubt, if you read the story, a lot of mail-in votes are they're sent to the wrong state, they're invalidated by the people doing the state level or county level, so they've been invalidated. So don't be afraid. Go physically vote in person. Okay. I got a text message on my phone the other day about somebody was sending me a mail-in ballot request for Pennsylvania. Didn't ask for one. It came in on Friday. I'm not doing anything with it because I'm going to go vote in person. And then on Saturday's mail, we got a flyer in about how to ask for a mail-in ballot for everybody in your family. Not doing that. We're voting in person. But come January 20th, somebody's going to be in the White House. Okay? Whether it be President Trump, which I hope. It could be Biden, which is going to be really, really terrible. Or we have the witch called Pelosi, because she's third in line after Pence. It stands right now. And she could seriously be President of the United States on the 20th of January if the mail-in votes are not all counted. And a lot of states have a problem mailing votes. So don't, if you stuff election results on the 4th or the 5th of November, don't hold your breath.
If this paperwork for voting, mail voting, does not come from your county registration voting office,
It doesn't count.
don't send it in.
Yeah, don't
fill it up. It doesn't count. And there's only one reason why we get sent to the wrong state, and that is somebody is intercepting it and sending it to the wrong state.
Now, there's a good point here. I actually read this today. The European countries, they don't do mail-in voting. Why? Because mail-in voting, the votes, could get lost in the mail, or delayed, or voter fraud. Okay, the very thing the Democrats say, hey, this is easy. You can do this. Hit the voter fraud. Yeah, right. Okay. That Europeans don't do it. They vote on a Sunday. And in our case, we would probably declare, we vote on Tuesdays. Declare Tuesday voting holiday. To go vote.
Yeah, they declare other things for holidays for use.
I know.
So why not have a voter holiday, which is one of the most important things a citizen in this country can do?
So don't put the BS about voting by mail is safe, it's easy, and it's convenient. Well, it's probably convenient and easy, but there's a lot of fraud going to be involved with mail not being delivered on time to the right place. And more than one, if I read this, the stories right, more than one mail person with the UPS decided not to deliver votes by mail that were being sent back in to be counted. So you cannot trust UPS. In fact, I don't trust mail because I get mail for somebody down the road from me or up the road from me or someplace across town from me. And I understand a birthday card was mailed to me from Central PA, and I still haven't seen it yet. So I'm like, where did that go?
I got to answer Emmy or tell Emmy something here. Yeah, I understand the reluctance to target practice with because of the short ammo supply. I haven't tried to buy any 22 long rifle ammo, but if you don't want to spend the dollars worth of good stuff that you got for whatever caliber gun you've got, get a 22. Use the 22 ammo to practice. It's the same principle, okay, as shooting a regular gun. Regardless of whether it's a 22 handgun or 22 long rifle, it's the same principle. That way you get 50 rounds for $2.50. Tell you what, Emmy, you come here, I got about 5,000 rounds on the shelf, I'll sell you. You drive out and get it. Okay?
There it goes. No air resupply.
So you figure out how many 5,000 rounds are per box. So I'll be glad to help you out there, kids. I don't have any way of getting it to you. You'd have to come here and get it. Or else Uncle Crazy Uncle Bob could come and get it and take it out to you. He's been looking for an excuse to meet up with her.
There you go.
So, anyway, kids, we don't, I see they're asking Uncle Bob if there are any rioters in this area. Yeah, don't be a litter bug, pick up your brass. That's right, because it can be stuffed. And it can be restuffed depending on your gun. And make sure you check it, and you trim it, and you deburr it. It can be reloaded up to somewhere between 5 and 7, maybe even 8 times, but that's dependent upon your gun and how much it stretches the brass, and how tight the back end of the chamber is. But you can tell when it's starting to fatigue. You'll get a telltale line that when you shrink it, some will show up as a crack, some will show up And when you get up to 3 or get up to 4 or 5 times, you take a little paper clip. You bend the little kid on the end of it.
Okay.
And you do it. So I got something here to demonstrate. Where's them tie downs when you need one? Oh, shit. Oh, let's see it. Here's one, right here in front of me. I put it so it wouldn't get lost. So, carry the ball for a minute, Mr. Timothy.
Okay. When I was in Pennsylvania, you remember there were protests and riots out in the Allegheny, Pittsburgh area, and as well over in eastern PA, not only in the city of Philadelphia and Philadelphia County, but also counties of Bucks, Montgomery, and Delaware. Well, guess what our governor has decided? Governor Wolf has decided that only eastern PA, the city of Philadelphia, and the counties of Bucks, Montgomery, and Delaware are eligible for loans to repair or replace damaged property, business due to riots in support of the false narrative of George Floyd. Okay? Allegheny County and Pittsburgh are not on the list. Now, they had riots down there too in protest, but there was, stuff was damaged, not nearly as much as Philadelphia and other places down east, but still there were places that were damaged, burned, Now, the loan that the governor is allowing, on a personal level, you can get a loan up to $40,000 to replace personal property, like your vehicles, whether it was damaged or destroyed in one of those protests. Okay.
Oh, my vehicle just went up in value.
If you had a home that was damaged and need repair, for example, you can get a loan up to $200,000.
My house just went up.
If you had a business that was damaged or destroyed, or just damaged and you need to replace inventory and buy new equipment, you can get a loan up to $2 million. Well, that's all taxpayer money, of course. But, again, that's only for the deep blue, democratically controlled counties of
trying to buy the election.
City of Philadelphia, Bucks, Montgomery, and Delaware. I guess Allegheny County and Pittsburgh aren't blue enough.
No, we need a few more.
So that's our governor. And while I'm on the topic of our governor here, I'm trying to read this down. I don't have Twitter. Our Lieutenant Governor, John Fetterman, has a Twitter page. And if you go to his Twitter page, I didn't have to, somebody posted it, you will find on his Twitter page the old communist Soviet hammer and sickle symbol.
Oh, a devout commie, huh?
Yes.
How in the hell did a traitor like that get into...
So he's Democrat. So that's confused.
Well,
anyway.
okay, well then that just...
And if you look at this third picture in the middle and to the left, or to his right, to the left is the hammer and sickle, and to the other side is a photo of Governor Wolf. Now, does Wolf know this photo appears on his Twitter page? And if so, does he know what else appears on Fetterman's Twitter page?
You bet he does.
And does he approve the hammer and sickle being on Fetterman's Twitter page?
You bet he does.
Of course he does. He's a communist. Anyway, he acts like one.
Yeah, but he's a dumb communist because he can't do anything original. He has to wait for the governor of New York.
Cuomo, yeah, or somebody else to do something. Yeah. I think Cuomo has mimicked something. Oh no, Wolf did the. What did he do first that Cuomo followed? The nursing homes? Which I'm saying he did.
Cuomo did the nursing homes.
Something that Wolf did first and Cuomo decided to do after. I can't think what it is offhand. But anyway, so yeah, our governor is just a communist, follow the example of the fellow communists. And if you pay attention, Pennsylvania on east and northeast, all those states, you can travel to New York City and not to face quarantine. But if you come from other states, you have to be quarantined. And don't go to New York City, because I think at least 8 of the ways in New York City, there are going to be police checkpoints that are going to stop you and find out where you're from.
Eventually, it's supposed to be all of them.
Last I heard it was 8. I'll tell you right now, they will stop you and tell you got to quarantine for 14 days. Hawaii, they're doing it. They've been doing it since almost day one. So you're 2 weeks staying in Hawaii. You can either 2 weeks of quarantine or 2 additional weeks to get quarantined down first before you do anything. So, and the Democratic Party is not. Not your friend. It's not the party of the United States people. It is a home of a collection of Marxists, socialists, communists. They support BLM. And his leaders say, hey, we're all trained Marxists. Okay? They support Antifa. Now, Antifa is, anti-fascist, but its forefather, Antifa, was born in Moscow back during the reign of Uncle Joe Stalin, for sure. And they're communist. Okay, and then there's spread the wealth around crap. That's a socialist concept. The Green Deal, socialist concept. So, if you are Democrat, change parties. I intend to vote not for a single Democrat in Pennsylvania come election day. There is a representative in my area who's Democrat, who's like roughly 6% pro-Second Amendment, but there are a few things that he supports Governor Wolf on. And there's a lady running on the Republican side who is a farmer. Yes. Okay. She's running, against this guy. So I can't think of anybody running this November that's a Democrat that I'm going to vote for.
Yeah, she's a farmer. She's probably got a gun in her barn.
Well, she's she's pro-Second Amendment, and she's got quite a bit of land. It's been handed down to the family, and actually she's not too far. Her property starts not too many miles south of me. So
I'm going to take a second and see if I can show them what I was talking about.
Go ahead.
And you tell me if you can see it on this screen. I don't know how big their screen is.
You might have it.
See it?
Yeah.
Okay, can you see the tip there, kids?
It's kind of blurred. You have to move it probably back a little bit with the camera.
Well, I'm trying to watch it.
No.
And then still see it?
And it's quite clear now.
Okay. That's about all the bigger you have to make it. Okay, and what you do with that, you stick it down inside the neck of the cartridge after you size it. And if there is a crack showing up on the inside, it will catch. Just like it catches on the fingernail here, it will catch in that crack. That'll let you know if there's a crack there, the case is done. Scrap time, okay? Just a hint. Okay, by the way, Airborne, I saw your chat message this week when I was playing around double checking to make sure I could get everything going the same. So I want to thank you, but I didn't acknowledge it because I was having too many other things to do. So as far as it stands now, we shall hopefully be okay. And if I ever have another power outage, I'll go up and push the reset button. So I get my four little dots right down here. You see them right there? So
I think you all 6 of them.
well, you'd be over-modulated probably. And but when I saw that, I wasn't going to mess. They can hear us. That's all that matters.
They hear us and see us.
Yeah, I don't care if there's 6 dots there or 4 dots. But anyway. Let's see. Okay, on complete thing. We got 12 minutes before.
Well, let me. I was on the subject of voter fraud, and you may not have heard this, may not have seen it, but nearly 20,000 fake driver licenses have been recently confiscated. You may ask, who made them? Where they come from? They were in a shipment from China. China was Biden, okay? China has bought off, gave money to mostly by the senior leadership of the Democratic Party. Okay, Feinstein had a Chinese chauffeur for 20 years. He had been a spy. Biden has got money from China, Schumer, other people as well. They want to, just like everybody say, oh, Russia. China wants to influence our election because they don't like Trump. They don't like the fact he's renegotiated deals with them to make us, a better deal. Okay, they don't like that idea. And they don't like being blamed for the Chinese virus they started either. They did it. They should be blamed. They should be held accountable. And that 20,000, and then how many more have come into the country that weren't caught? And before I read the article, those are for illegal immigrants to use to prove that they are U.S. citizens so they can go vote. The Democratic Party with their allies will stop at nothing to steal this election. Let's see.
Okay.
You want to do a story? I did a couple more here.
You got another one?
Yeah, I got a couple. Well, everybody knows about Dr. Fauci and his masks. He's, one way or another and so forth. And now he's back to masks. You wear a mask, but it may not work. And then I just want the vaccine, may not be effective. And everybody should get it. It may not be, but maybe 40% effective. And he's hoping for, right here, an over 90% effective rate. So, why get the vaccine? If one, you already had the virus. And two, why get the vaccine? Because in the vaccine is going to be junk that you don't need. It's going to hurt your body anyway. But it's not going to be effective. It's like the flu shot. The CDC guesses every year what the next flu shot needs to be because they're guessing the next strain of flu. And I believe in 2017 they guessed wrong, and not only people get really, really sick, but thousands of people died because they got the wrong vaccine. They don't want to tell you that.
They wouldn't want you to know that.
Oh yeah.
Lawsuits,
And the last time I got a flu shot was in 2007. That's also the last time I got the flu.
Yeah, I haven't had a flu shot for I don't know how long. And, well, I know it was while I was since I've been out of the POW camp. Okay? And that was in 2008 that I got out of there. 2008 I got out of there. And they wanted me to take one before I was being discharged. And I said, no. And they said, well, you ought to take one to keep you from getting sick. I says, the last time I took a flu shot, I got sicker than a dog.
That's wrong.
Okay? So, at that point, I will no longer take a flu shot. I will take my chances. And if it's my time, it is my time. And so far, God has given me lots of extra time. So,
well, Dr. Fauci's buddy, Dr. Burks, now, fact is, he didn't back and forth in his mask business. Okay, and it's like almost every other day, it's like he changes his mind. Masks are needed, masks are not needed, they're not good, whatever. Okay. Well, Dr. Burks, I forget exactly who her physician is, but she's got this past week saying that to beat the coronavirus, COVID-19, Americans may have to wear masks in their homes.
chicken, piss, fly, Harry, you know what.
Now, there are probably enough people out there who fear for their lives who will do that.
I've seen people sitting on their front porch with the mask on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am not wearing a mask inside my house. Nobody in my family, unless they're sick, are going to wear a mask inside the house. We had family gathering over the weekend. Nobody wore a mask. I did not think they do. Yeah, we're all family. Totally ludicrous, totally stupid, okay? Now, if they can't come out with an order, you will wear a mask in your house, how are you going to enforce that if you don't let them in? Yeah, a lot
in, but they ain't going out.
Well, a lot said, hey, you can wear a mask outside. I live on a farm. I am not going to go mow my grass, mow a pasture, or do other, chop wood or split wood, or whatever else I got to do, wearing a mask. Now, they had some study, or some doctor said he ran 22 miles in a mask, had no problem whatsoever. Okay, good for him. I know someone who wears a mask, and only because they have to at times, and they're in the medical field, and they've been told, don't wear your mask all the time because it's bad for your breathing, it's bad for your lungs. Now, dentists have come out and said, wearing a mask all the time is bad for your mouth and your teeth. Okay, gingivitis and other things could happen. All that recycled air is in your, if you breathe through your mouth and you wear a mask, that's even worse because all that bad air is going in your mouth and it doesn't help your teeth and your gums.
The idea of wearing a mask is twofold. The idea is twofold. One, the person is exhaling the bacteria, whatever virus goes out in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're exhaling. Well, if a person should happen to have the virus and they are wearing a mask,
you put it back in.
What are they doing? They're exhaling it and then they're re-inhaling it. Okay, and you're just compounding the problem. If you aren't sick because of that, you follow what I'm saying? You're going to get sicker. And not everybody that has the virus is going to get sick. Okay, and it does affect. I've been seeing studies where they're saying it does affect the elderly, And they proved that by sending infected patients back to nursing.
in Pennsylvania, New York, Michigan.
And those are not the only two. Other ones did it too.
Well, Michigan's one, I think.
So anyway, if you have underlying conditions, you're susceptible to infection by the virus. Okay? I mean, that's because your immune system is weak. But if you are a survivor of the swine flu epidemic that came through here 7 years ago or whatever it is.
During Obama's Reign of Terror.
Yeah, during Obama's Reign of Terror. It's the same virus as the Corona-19. Okay, did you know that? It's the same. Same as it was SARS. Or SARS, is that how they pronounce it?
SARS? Yeah, they're all coronaviruses. They're all related.
Coronavirus. So if you get one, or if you had it, chances are you are immune to it, to this one, even though it's a different strain.
Yeah.
Your body has already built antibodies up to fight this. So.
Now, people are saying, oh, this is the worst virus we've ever had in the United States. Wrong. There's something called the Spanish flu of 1918.
Yeah.
Now, that Spanish flu was actually, we're actually thinking it's more of a coronavirus, similar to what we're going around now. But when it first hit, it hit young, healthy people, males especially, because we got because the war effort going on at times, still WW1 in progress. It hit a lot of soldiers, American soldiers, in training or en route to Europe, where it spread even more. And due to wartime censorship, a lot of that was hushed up because, of course, you can't have the Germans know what's going on with the Allied troops, But a lot of young people, young men, healthy young men, got sick and died. Okay? And earlier this year, I talked about, when we get to them, this virus is going to die out. The Spanish flu did not die out in the summer of 1918. Okay, it didn't die out till later on in the fall, but then when the hiding came back again in 1919 and 1920, before it finally mutated enough that it quit killing a lot of people. Now, I wish I brought the article. I forget how many people died in the United States. But worldwide, because of the censorship during the wartime and people not understanding what was going on, why people were dying, there's no accurate total on the amount of people who died worldwide. Okay? On the high side, 100 million. On the low side, depending what study was done, 20, 25, 30 million.
It's 7 o'clock time.
I know. We'll get back to this after our break.
One comment that I was telling my son and grandson, then we'll take our break. And we're sitting around at camp this afternoon before coming down here. You watch. Once the election is over, and we find out who our new president is going to be, it's going to disappear. Especially if it is a Democrat that gets elected. It will disappear. I have nothing to base that on. It's just conjecture, 70 years of living, seeing what the communist Democrats have done in the last 20 years, it makes me wonder. And if it continues on after that, it's because they're still after Trump to try and get rid of him, one way or another. So just remember that. If it goes away, because the Democrat got elected. Okay, at that point, we'll take a couple-minute break, rest our voices, and we'll be back. I don't have any music set up for tonight. I just want to get through this one this way. Okay, kiddies, to turn your mic back on.
Yep, it's on.
Okay, kiddies, we're back. Can you hear us okay? I hope so. By the way, guys, since there's 6 of you watching here tonight, I need you to spread the word to anybody that you can remember that was listening to our show, to get them back online and get us back up to numbers on likes so that we can continue to do this. I don't know. I know at one time we had to have so many likes
Yeah.
in order to have free broadcast, but I don't know if that was something else or not. So, if you would, please, I'm begging you to help me, help you, help the rest of the people to get this information. I know we're not as good as we used to be because now we have
No mic.
no mic. Now we got 4 mics in here, but
Not the
plus
mic. Not the mic.
Yeah. So, because it was so easy to bounce things off of him. But
The mic can't make guest appearances.
boy,
Mike's
you're
back.
asking a lot.
It's only 2 hours on the Sunday, right? Everybody. Mike showed up for you.
He's probably laughing at you. He said, I'm up here having the time of my life. You want me to come down there to that miserable place? Anyhow. So if you kids will do that, I'd appreciate it. And I would appreciate any financial help that I can get to help keep this thing on the air. I have my stimulus check that I got from the government went to pay 2019's taxes. Yesterday I got in the mail 2020 taxes. I haven't even opened them, but I got 2020's taxes. So, if we get another stimulus check, it will probably pay 2020's taxes. But I need to be able to garner a few bucks away to be able to pay 2021 taxes. Or at least hang on to this place long enough to fight the revolution and kill the commies. Okay, then we won't need so much.
What's that old saying, kill a commie for mommy?
Yeah. I doubled down on that. Kill 2 commies for mommy.
Or as many as you can, anyway.
Yeah.
You read your property tax for 2020? What did you get? So I think I got it for 2020 already.
No, it just came today, or yesterday, so I didn't open the different 2020.
Good. Yeah, I got mine from Woodcock Township.
So, anyway.
I could sell some land. Anyway, I was talking about mask. Okay. And desire something, not just Dr. Burks, okay, but politicians up and down different levels, state or nationwide. These people are flat out stupid. Nobody in their right mind is going to wear a mask inside their home. I say it again. Nobody in their right mind is going to wear a mask inside their home unless perhaps someone else is sick. They got to take care of them. Perhaps. Now, I was out and about today and went by 2 different Sheetz gas stations. Of course, Sheetz now, just recently, must have mask to be served. Must have mask for anyone. The Amish get away with it because I was in Sheetz actually yesterday. There were 2 Amish men in there. And they won't wear a mask and they got service. But I was at 2 different Sheetz stations today. And it's pretty bad when you're pumping gas and you're wearing a mask. You're outside. I thought those days had ended, but they're back. Or you pull in, you fill your car, and you're going to walk inside, perhaps buy some, use the restroom, whatever. You put your mask on as soon as you come out of your car, they're on or in the process put on, and you walk across the parking lot into the store, and you're done. You come back out, and the mask stay on until you get to your car. You're out.
I've done it all wrong.
I don't put mine on until I get almost to the door.
Well, it's the same way with you know. Take it off and see.
I like these people, you know, and they are young people that scared. Okay.
They are.
And the other that she I used herself the car, young woman, she zoomed in. Now and pulled the parking lot, stayed right by the building, got out, mask was on. And I'm pumping gas in my truck, in the fuel can. She comes back out, mask stayed on the entire time she walked in the door to her car, stayed on while she was in her car, and when she left, she was still wearing a mask.
Yeah,
And nobody else in the car that could see, I don't know, whatever, you know, but this is ridiculous. This is absolutely positive ridiculous. I was at church this morning at Mass. The number of people wearing masks for Sunday Mass and about Saturday nights has dwindled from a high of 10 to today for 2. One person I understand, because I know he has a health problem. I think the other person does too, besides being elderly. But 10 to 2, that's a pretty good drop over 4 different Sundays in a row. So, I don't have one of mine. I left mine in my truck.
well,
And I know, go ahead.
like you said, you see people driving around their cars. What gets me is the ones that are driving around in their car with the mask on and all the windows up.
Well, yeah, the air conditioner on. So why the fuck?
What do you need the mask for if you got the air conditioner going?
Tell you what day I went to Walmart. Walmart, okay? And it was the day for the bomb threat.
Oh, they had a bomb threat?
Yeah,
Which one?
the one in Newcastle.
Oh, okay. I heard about that one.
Yeah, guy walked in, carried a paper bag. He wasn't stopped, and he was bitching and moaning about stuff, and he claimed he'd blow the store, but he had a bomb in his bag. Okay, and of course, he evacuated the store, and police showed up. You know, he fortunately he did resist arrest, and then I think the dogs through. I get the Newcastle PD and the sheriff's department. Walk through the store. Okay, no bombs, nothing. You know, everybody's fine. Living floor is in there, and put my truck up. Now I parked away from the building because it's safer in my truck to away from the building because I think it's scratched up and dented by idiot people. I don't mind walking, but when I walk 100 plus yards to the building, my mask is not getting on until I'm almost ready to enter the store. So see people get out of their vehicles and walk with the mask. So especially the day it was, in the 80s, it wasn't as hot as it had been, but it's still nice and warm day. And the same people will walk out with their buggies on their way to their vehicles with masks on. I saw people unloading their carts, buggies, wearing masks. And I get in my truck and I ready to pull off, and here comes this idiot coming in, flying in. The windows are up. He's wearing a mask. The only person in the vehicle. I hadn't seen that in a while right there, but
I just saw it the other day.
and then no sooner I see him come flying in, here comes another car coming in, and both front seat people, driver and passenger, had masks on. The windows are up. The AC is on, and the windows are up. Okay. I mean, people ask me why come, you're not wearing masks. Yeah, you're right. I'm not.
I went up to...
Very doing deduction there, Sherlock.
Mother and I had to go to the doctor's for a routine checkup. Finally, it's been postponed from back when the coronavirus popped up. So last week, well, actually about 2 weeks ago now. Oh, by the way, Mother and I both had birthdays on July the 25th and 27th. She the 25th, me the 27th.
25th, 27th, 29th to me.
Yeah. So we're a birthday triple. Anyhow, we've been going up there for a couple of years now. And I've said to her, we ought to just go down to the peninsula because I know we're pretty close. I don't know how close we are, but we're on Saratonia Road, which goes right down and meets up with Peninsula Drive.
Yeah, it's right here. Wow.
I said, and when we get off of 90 on the Saratonia Road, it just says 8 miles of peninsula. I said, we can't be more than 3 or 4. So I said, the next time we go, we're going to take a picnic lunch. So, Mother went over to Kentucky Fried Chicken the night before, and we got a basket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. We had that for supper, had lots of chicken left over, so we took that and a picnic. And after going to the doctors, after going to the doctors and wearing a mask in the doctor's office,
Yeah.
and I can understand that because you don't know what you're running into and who's going to be sick. But what got me is the girls, the receptionists, 90% of them that were walking around back behind the glass windows didn't have a mask on.
Oh yeah, it's pulled out with their nose. Yeah. Okay. Neck.
But anyway, we went down to the peninsula and drove around, found a picnic table and pulled out our bucket of chicken and sat there and had lunch at the...
You been wearing a mask out there on the beach?
Nope.
No.
It was a weekday, so there wasn't a lot of people, but there was a steady flow of people going around.
Oh, I know. Well, Mark's telling you the person that stands there and looks for people wearing masks and not wearing masks. Okay? But I walk, where am I in the store? Okay, and then I just I asked to see, like, okay, I see you, for example, no mask. Hey, did they say anybody you know wear a mask? No. Okay, fine. I take my mask. Take my bite. And people ask me, how come you don't wear masks? It was more dangerous being in Iraq 2004, 2005 than it is for me right now. Yeah, I'm 64. Getting up there. Had a malaria shot, for the booster. I'm probably good to go. But I am not worried, okay? I mean, I drink and get my vitamin C and my zinc and my vitamin D, and I'll take a mug, 32-ounce mug, water, 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and 2 of raw honey. Stir it up and drink it. Helps with my immunity.
Well, I'm doing some of the same stuff. I don't take the vinegar every day like I should, but I do take the vinegar. And but I am taking a triple dose of vitamin D because that's what the VA told me I need to do. I am taking a daily dose of vitamin C, double.
Yeah, I'm taking.
Okay.
Well,
and then I'm taking these new cannabis tablets that got the oils in it for your heart. Number 6, 3, 6, and 9. But there's something.
Omega.
Yeah, that's it. I was going to tell you something too. Talking and I lost it, like I always do.
Well, maybe I know you have a few, so I got one more I wrote down here. Somebody may see this on Facebook, and maybe or someplace else, but there is a lady named Sharon Hurt, who is a member of the Metro Nashville, Tennessee at-large council. No, she's a member of the. Okay, she's the at-large member. Large member of the Metro Nashville council. Anyway, she wants, not proposes, She wants people who don't wear masks and who pass on the virus to somebody to be charged with, and get this, either murder or attempted murder. She is upset that Tennessee has not passed a law that masks will be worn. Now, Governor Wolf and his sidekick, Dick Levine, said, masks will be worn. It's the law. No, it's not the law, because only our legislators can pass laws. Wolf hasn't got that in his thick-headed communist skull yet. He does not make law. And neither can Sharon Hurt in Nashville, Tennessee. And she was upset that this law can't be passed, because she just wants these people who, you're spreading the virus around, and you need to, depending on the person gets sick and survives, it's attempted murder. The person gets sick and dies, they want you to charge. She wants you to be charged with murder. And someone I noticed, I listen to quite frequently, say, she deserves. Well, let me rephrase that. I read this in the book. She deserves 9 grams of lead to the head. That comes from Mother Russia during the time of Uncle Joe Stalin.
Mother Russia?
Yeah, Mother Russia. Anyway.
No, we got, I see there's the 4 lights showing up there again.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, does that mean we got 10 people watching?
I don't know, you probably count how many people are there. Because they repeat on their comments, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see you run around naked without a mask. I mean,
okay. Hey, Emmy, Jack. Jack and I are friends on Facebook. You can send him a photo, and he can send me a photo, okay?
Yeah, you send him a photo, and I'll get to see it. I'm not sending you a photo. I don't want to break this cat.
Where did I see somebody running naked and got caught? Oh. Shoot, who was that?
Oh, was it Jerry Falwell?
No, it was somebody.
He did something.
Somebody down, not too far from me. Oh, I know. Oh, no. I remember. One different guy, but a few months ago I saw the story in Harrisburg. I think it was a city council member was doing naked gardening. Yeah. And one or more of his neighbors turned him in for it.
Must not have been a very good news shot.
I understand he was resign or else. I think he chose the wise, I'm going to resign, not go to jail.
Well, what's the city council doing now? Oh, they're out there rolling their gas.
And he was a Democrat rider too.
We're paying them big bucks to do that. This is the kind of people we're hiring.
And for those of you who don't know, okay, our health secretary is Dr. Rachel Levine, formerly Dr. Richard Levine. Okay, and there've been a lot of comments down in about maybe he and Governor Wolf can trade penises, in other words. Yeah. Well, Dick Levine can't do that because when he made his transformation, he had certain aspects of his anatomy removed.
Dickectomy.
Yeah, one of those things. So he can't go back to being a full male. I mean, his DNA says he's male, okay? But you can't reverse it.
He needs to petition the court to get permission to change his DNA.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, we have someone running our health department who's a pediatrician by trade. I don't know what his experience is with infectious diseases. But I think he has some mental issues, and we're supposed to trust this person? I don't think so.
We got these type of people that don't know what sex they are trying to tell us how we're supposed to protect ourselves.
Oh, I know. Somebody, I just saw somebody was happy that their son has begun his transition to become a female. Hey, lady, your DNA doesn't change because you think you're born male, I think you're female, your DNA is still male. And I saw something, the male says, oh, my daughter is, I'm sorry, she's transferring to becoming a boy. She always wanted to be a boy. Okay, she a tomboy? Anyway,
it's too confusing.
It can be very mind-boggling at times trying to figure it out. And I still have to figure out some of this. What was that one? What's a binary person? There's some Marxist spokesman for BLM. Looking at some trans-binary person and
transplant.
I asked the question in the comments. What does this mean? And nobody answered the question, so either they didn't know or they're afraid to comment. So
just to make you kids in the chat room, there we are. What's a binary baby?
Or trans-binary. Trans-binary. Let Jack know. Jack will let me know.
What do you let us know if I see it?
Right now. Trans-binary. Anyway.
Before I start into this, in St. Louis.
Oh, the couple.
No. The police, I think it's in St. Louis or maybe it's Minneapolis. The chief of police of one of the big cities out there in the Midwest, we'll go that way, put on an advisor to the people of his town.
Oh.
Do not resist a criminal. Let him do whatever he wants.
I think Minneapolis.
Let him do whatever he wants. Comply with him and let him take anything he wants. Well, shucks.
I'll give
him a lead pill and he won't have to worry about being arrested no more.
230 grains of 45 ACP.
Yeah.
I'm 82.
Original American acupuncture.
Jacket of hollow point.
Yeah. The reason I brought that up was this reminded me of it because
Minneapolis.
Yeah. Okay. Manhattan
Project.
Manhattan DA reduces BLM leaders assault charge amid blowback. Blow him back. He won't blow back. Then you blow back. Anyway.
Easy.
Take a breath. I've been breathing out of my mask too long. I hyperventilated myself or something.
That's why I'm a truck.
The Manhattan District Attorney has reduced the assault charges against Black Lives Matter group leader to a mere misdemeanor after turning himself in to face charges he injured a cop. DA Cyrus Vance ordered the Manhattan prosecutor to lower the charges of Derek Ingram, 28, and release him through a rebuke from law enforcement officers. He lowered the charges because he was afraid of the protesters. Oh my God!
Pussy.
What?
Yeah, you probably get a carry permit and protect himself.
Well, he probably not. If he's got a charge of police assault, he could probably get a carry permit to protect him from the police.
Well, no, I mean, possibly. He can get a carry permit to protect himself from the bad guys, protesters, and from the police. Yeah.
He lowered the charges because he was afraid of protesters. The June incident leading to the assault charge occurred when Ingram allegedly used a battery-powered bullhorn to shout into an officer's ear, damaging his hearing. He was also identified by police after he did it again weeks later to another cop. This is ludicrous. He attacked a police officer. A Manhattan cop told the press, what does he have to do to get bail? Seriously injure a cop or worse? The initial felony assault charge carried up to 7 years in prison is customary for any injury inflicted on a cop.
Yeah.
I prefer you use a police officer.
I would be Fred de Blasio had something to say to that. Yeah. Don't do that.
But now Ingram might not fail, any jail time. Boy, whoever wrote this. Anyhow, is there any doubt who is in charge of this city? Police Benevolent Association President Pat Lynch, the Post in the statement, the criminal mob is dictating their terms to the New York police brass and district attorney who are tripping over themselves to comply. In other words, folks, your police are not, their hands are being tied because we got a bunch of mandy-pandy, pico bastards in charge of whatever. Everywhere.
Oh, remember,
everywhere.
Remember, de Blasio that's not his real name. He changed his name. And he is an avowed communist. He is an avowed communist. So he just probably told the prosecutor today, let him go.
Police officers want to know, what are we still doing out here? We are our leaders sending us, again, boy, who wrote this? They are sending us out to enforce laws they don't believe in, and what are we supposed to tell the New Yorkers who are watching us retreat while violence overwhelms their streets? I just asked, where's that, Portland, Oregon? Yeah, they had another riot the other night and burned the police officers off the office, I think. Anyway, getting back to that, Ingram's charge were reduced after a development of cops with tactical gear, dogs, sniper rifles, and police helicopters gathered outside Ingram's apartment during the standoff. Ingram lamented online, per the report. What did I do? I was born black. That's what I did. I'm tired of hearing you being born black, and that's why I did what I did. You're no good scumbag, whether you be black, white, green, or in between. Maybe you throw in a Romulan. Try being a human being and an active citizen.
Beat me up, Scotty.
Yeah. Commissioner Shea made the right decision to call off the operation. De Blasio said, per the Post, assaulting an officer is unacceptable and will always lead to consequences. The rest must be made properly.
So he needs to tell his prosecutor, get off his dead ass and do his job.
Ingram supporters celebrated the police retreat as a victory. We stood up to the largest expletive gang in the nation, and we won, a supporter shouted into a loudspeaker in Bryant Park a day later. They waved their white flag, they took their illegal occupation, and they backed it down the street. You see what's going on. Now you know why the rioting is continuing throughout this country for days and months on end. Okay? Because the leadership of every one of these towns that's got that is a damn Democratic Tommy Pinko bastard. And if they don't like that, then do something about standing up and taking care of things. Arrest them by wholesale.
They don't do that. They don't want to be tough. They don't want to be seen as a tough.
No, well, you go ahead and give me whatever you want, and we'll just sit back and let you murder the entire population. Because there'll be that many people listening out for police.
What they're afraid of is another Kent State happening in their city where the police and National Guard are going to open up, which they should. I mean, if you're being, I mean, there's one thing to protest peacefully, okay? But
if you start
throwing rocks pieces of concrete, Molotov cocktails, you're using whatever devices you can use to throw at people, then you ought to expect retaliation in kind, if not worse. Okay? Now, there's some idiot, I forget what city he was in, he got hit by beanbags in at least 6 spots, and he was showing location of his body will get hit by police beanbags. And he was upset because he was just protesting. Well, don't think the protest was that peaceful. The police started using beanbags. And like the people who got hit with rubber bullets. If you're protesting, you're carrying burning things and throwing things, then yeah, you deserve whatever you get as far as, whether it be a beanbag or you get a beanbag, you get a rubber bullet, or you get a live round, jacket of hot point, or a full metal jacket.
Regardless of what your reason for protesting, when you start bringing violence in and start destroying
I'd say
property
that's one.
or assaulting people and inflicting injury on them, you are breaking the law. You are a criminal. You need to be arrested and you need to be put in jail. Throw away the key and let them rot for a while. But people say, well, that's a hard thing for you to say. You were in jail. That's right. But I was in jail for an entirely different thing. I wasn't hurting nobody.
Just
Anyway.
being a sweet, innocent gunsmith.
No, I wasn't. I'm not sweet and innocent. I was guilty of what they said I did, yeah. But I didn't hurt nobody, which is for them to incarcerate me was basically illegal under the Constitution because I did not hurt anybody. I did not do $20 worth of damage to any property. Okay?
They just didn't like you.
No, they just didn't like me. That's why, because I'm doing what I'm doing here now. Not that makes me anybody special out there, kids. Just that it has made a long struggle for me the last few years. But I'm still struggling. Anyhow, Minneapolis, I see they finally charged a guy, the lawyer, that stood in his doorway and pointed a gun at the Black Lives Matter.
Oh, yeah, he is wife, yeah.
Well, they finally charged him.
Yeah.
I didn't get the story because at that time my computer up there decided that Microsoft...
The governor had said he was going to pardon him.
Yeah.
Now, the exact wording of it. Now, a lot of experts say, well, the one mistake, one day he came out barefooted. And the one mistake the guy did, in particular, was he took his weapon and he pointed it, at the crowd, waving around, which he shouldn't have done. Which is probably why they charged him. Now,
yeah, that's what they're claiming.
I think it was Walter PPK his wife had was supposedly inoperative. And then when taken to the lab, it doesn't work.
So they made it work.
And they made it work. So they could charge her. Well, wait a minute, that's,
falsification of evidence,
Yeah.
altering evidence, whatever.
kind of against the law to do that.
Whoever did that, shouldn't they be being arrested for breaking the law?
Yeah, and the DA for going on. Anyway, so
The DA should be arrested too for promoting that
I
kind
think
of
she
stuff.
suggested it. Anyway,
Yeah.
what do you say that happens to the governor if he's actually going to pardon this guy?
You ought to do it right now. Okay, I'm just saying.
Well, it depends. I think you can see the actual charges and then go from there. But I haven't seen exactly what you've been charged with. So,
but the thing of it is, if he gets it charged, and even if he gets convicted and gets the governor's pardon for doing it, it still shows on his record.
oh yeah, I know.
Okay, and there's no reason for it to be there.
No.
And he might have
Okay, so
been
some aspects, they let people say, well, some experts say this. Some say, well, somebody at the crowd in the crowd pointed a weapon at him. Okay, that right there, I would consider that a threat. Okay.
If somebody points a weapon at you, it is a threat. Now, if you're protesting on my property and you're throwing rocks at me, you're trying to hurt me. So I'm going to hurt back. Okay?
You going for upper chest or down here? Make it hurt.
I think I'm going to neuter him first.
Make it really hurt.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I should forget.
And then while they're rolling around, I'll put another one in there.
Let me, so I can share my shirt off here.
Yeah. Oh, you want to show them your tweet?
Yeah.
You might have to back up. Here, let me. Oh, no, there's enough.
You see it? You see the whole thing?
Yeah, you can see the whole thing. You might want to read it to them because it's backwards here.
Oh, okay. This shirt says, "My rights don't end where your fears begin." Okay, I wrote it today. I also have one similar that says, instead of fears, it says feelings. What do you think I went to Walmart? Anyway. It is backwards on there. Okay.
Finishing the weapon, G.I. Joseph. Looks like taking a blow, but no, it's coughing into elbow nuts. I can't even get my elbow up here to cough in it. That's how bad the arthritis is in my shoulders.
If I'm in a store wearing a mask and I'm going to sneeze, I'm pulling my hanky out and the mask is coming off.
See how long I've seen this story.
I see yet the Democrats get in office, they're going to start a new bureaucracy. They're going to be looking for thousands of people to become mask police.
Oh, that's already started. Well, on an informal basis.
Yes, I know. But this will be a formal basis.
Somebody...
There will be a mask police. They will be wearing your mask, and if you don't have yours on, they're going to arrest you. But then again, how are you going to tell the police from the citizen that they're both masked?
Uniform? Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure I remember somebody took offense with somebody, I think, talking on their cell phone and took their mask off today and threw hot coffee on them. Now, the lady throwing coffee to the guy, of course, did not like hot coffee being tossed at him, and he decided to hit it a few times.
Well, violence is picking up in this country.
I know.
It's over Trump. It's over this coronavirus. It's over wearing the mask, and the lack of the police to do anything and stop the rioters and the centers in the big cities. Which I have a story about rioters in the big cities. Rioters declare as fire burns in Portland, Oregon police union office. A fire inside police union building led authorities in Portland, Oregon to declare a riot and force protesters away from the office as violent demonstrators continued in the city. What that had hoped for calm after federal agents withdrew more than a week ago. Didn't work, did it? You sent them home, they still... 3 officers were hurt, including 2 who were taken to the hospital during efforts to clear a crowd of several hundred people outside the Portland Police Association building late Saturday. Police said in a statement the 2 hospitalized officers have since been released. In other words, minor injuries, but they were still injured. Rallies had been held earlier in the afternoon and evening throughout the city, including at Peninsula, Laurelhart, and Berrydale Parks, local media reported. Police said the group from Peninsula Park marched to the Portland Police Association building, which is about 5 miles or 8 kilometers north of the federal courthouse that had been the target of nightly violence earlier this summer. The Portland Police Association and the labor union that represents members of the Portland Police Bureau. A group of demonstrators broke into the building, set the fire, and were adding to it when officers made a riot declaration just after 11:30 p.m. Video shot by the journalists and surveillance video from inside the building obtained by the police department shows smoke and flames arising from inside the building. I don't need to go into any more detail than that. It covers basically goddamn assholes are rioting and burning and destroying public property, and nobody's allowed to arrest them
Or shoot them.
Okay, you know what that is, kids? We're in the form of a revolution right now, early days.
Anarchy.
Okay? And that's exactly what the communists did when they created anarchy in the Soviet Union before it was under the control of the Tsar. And it's the same shit that neo-Nazis did in Germany when Hitler was trying to take over. You cause chaos, anarchy.
Brown shirts, yeah.
Okay? And then you take over. And now we have these Antifa.
BLM.
I saw today where I wanted to print the story out where several Antifa provocateurs attacked a elderly lady.
Trying to put out the fire. Yeah, I saw the video of that.
Yeah.
She was trying to put out her fire extinguisher, and the guy kept moving, doing this, and she couldn't do it, and then they poured paint on her.
Yeah. Okay. This is what you're facing out there. These are hopefully none of your kids. But Antifa are your relatives. They're your kids. Now, I know I'm saying that. I'm not meaning those of us that have their kids under control. I'm directing this to the adults out there. They're allowing their kids to run loose, unchecked, performing this shit, or causing this shit, or doing this shit. They need to take an example from the black lady from a couple of years ago when she went out and grabbed her son by the ear, took him off the protesting line back to his house. And she had a hold of his ear all the way. The parents need to go down there and get after their kids, and if you have to, bust them. The law's not going to do anything. If you have to, take a friggin' ball bat and hit them in the head to get their attention and drag them home. Anyhow.
Now, you may wonder why a lot of protesters are college kids or young adults, about 2 years out of college. Our educational system has been under attack for decades. Solely teaching socialism and communism from grade school on up into college. The first one started in college. That's why we had the riots back in the 60s and 70s. KGB. How do we know that? Because after the fall of Mother Russia, Russia became available, and the KGB was behind the protests, rioting that were going on in college, university campuses all over throughout the United States. And Nikita Khrushchev, and I forget what year was he, I forget for the UN, he told us what they were going to do to us, slowly but surely, and they were going to bury us. That plan is still working. It's still in force.
Yeah, I remember seeing that on the news. I was old enough to see that.
Little by little, they're going to feed us socialism, and before long, we're a socialist country. Well, we're getting that way.
He took his shoes off.
Yeah.
He took his shoe off and pounded the podium where he was at and said that we will bury you without firing a shot.
And it's been working great ever since. If you like communism, it works great. His plan anyway, but I was stationed in Europe back in the 80s, 3 years. A place called West Germany, which now merged with the former East Germany. And my landlord, I say we lived on what we call the economy in a German apartment. All 3 years we were there. My landlord was a Czechoslovakian political refugee. He escaped from communist Czechoslovakia. Could not believe the stories he told about life under communism in Czechoslovakia. We don't want that here in the United States, nor any country in the world for that matter. But we're seeing develop and grow in front of our eyes, just not now, but for decades. Okay, it's here, and it's got to be stopped. Otherwise, we're going to end up like, well, New York City is already been called the new East Berlin. And we can be the new Soviet Germany, Czechoslovakia, for that matter. That's what we're getting closer and closer to becoming. And it's the people we have in power who've been there too long. And I'm a strong advocate for term limits. 10 terms under, I think 3 for congressmen, and you're done. No pension. Okay, you get your 12 years of pay and you're out the door. That's what our founding fathers wanted. They got corrupted over the generations. And now we have to do with that, okay? And a lot of things that happen today you can blame on that what happened in 1913 when Woodrow Wilson was president. FCR was president, okay? Lyndon Baines Johnson, who then was president.
I got into hot water with my mother-in-law and my wife's uncle when I called FDR a communist.
Oh, and his wife was actually more so. And again, a number of his people, secretaries and staff and advisors were pro-Soviets.
He boasted that most of his personal advisors and friends were all communists, devout communists. So if you have devout communists, then you must be a communist.
And I think it was 1947 that the Russians blew up their first atomic bomb. It was 2 years behind us. Guess how they got that? What security was done up in Tennessee and at Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and down in Mexico. Information still got out. FDR was responsible for that because he didn't want the United States to be the sole possessor of nuclear weapons. He and his communist associates, his staff, his advisors, they wanted 2 countries. Well, 1947, second country, the USSR, had nukes. So we can blame FDR and his fellow Democrats then and now. Woodrow Wilson, back in 1913, and Democrats in Congress for all the income tax and everything else, our central banking system, which is unconstitutional, and the Reserve, that's all illegal by the Constitution. You blame all those guys, all Democrats. And 1912, the sinking of the Titanic. Now, story that hit iceberg, but 3 members on that, 3 rich people on that ship had all voted previously against the Federal Reserve System. And it's kind of like, well, maybe there was something else involved with why the Titanic sunk. So I wouldn't be surprised in the least. It was all set up. Because after those 3 were gone, and hardly anybody stood in the way, the next vote for the Federal Reserve System.
I think that's why the spread of communism through this country has gotten so rampant. Is number one, the last real generation to go and fight against them was World War II and Korea. Yes, we fought in communism in Vietnam, but we fought not to lose.
Yeah.
Okay? And as such, I still say we won that war. The politics lost it.
Well, militarily, the politicians lost the war for us.
Yeah, they lost the war.
There's any restriction put on what we could and could not do. That the other guys didn't have restrictions. We couldn't invade the north. And a lot of that invade Cambodia, that did happen.
If I was commander, and at the time, Secretary of Defense, I was just point blank told the president, you want to win this war, we're going to send troops to the north. We have to shut off the source of supply coming down from the north. Trying to stop it on the trails is not going to do it, because as soon as you stop it there, they got another trail. You need to go and take the country and destroy their industrial ability to produce
Well,
stuff.
the communists in Hanoi admit that we stopped our massive bombing campaign too soon. Another 2 weeks or so, they would have done them in. But Nixon was ill-advised to stop the bombing, and the rest is history.
Well, that's why Korea is divided today,
Well-
because the UN, when it was originally put together, 17 delegates from the United States that went there to help formulate it were communist. That's why the military leader at the time, I don't know how it is now with the Soviet Union gone, but the
Russian generals.
commanding general of the UN forces would always be from the Soviet bloc or Russia. So it's probably Russian generals now. And when Douglas, or MacArthur, I'm sorry, wrong guy, when MacArthur wanted to do an offensive assault line, or start an offensive, he had to get permission from the UN to do it. Well, you know what happened? It's going to the UN military commander who is Russian. Go ahead and do it.
That's why Incheon was not discussed with anybody.
Okay. That's why he pulled Incheon, and without the Russians knowing about it, he was successful, but there was not enough supplies to continue it. In other words, he didn't have enough backup support to finish the job. Otherwise, we were at the Yellow River, within a couple miles of Yellow River, at least once or twice in that compounded war. And the Chinese come across with their...
I know, I fault him for not believing the reports that Chinese were going to invade, that Chinese forces, soldiers were actually captured. He refused to believe it. I don't know why he turned a blind eye to it. But the rest, you know. And,
So anyway, there's a lot of reasons, a lot of shit going on out there. Your country is being destroyed right in front of you, and it's being reinforced by your college professors, through the teachers, to your children. In all actuality, probably all the kids staying home and getting homeschooled.
the best thing ever happened.
Probably the best thing that ever happened. So,
My wife and I, more so my wife, we homeschool all 6 of our children. They don't have social issues, okay? They can talk to anybody, okay? And they work with different kinds of people. And where my children have worked in different places, to include the ones working now, they've all been like, wow, you're really great, okay? You're better than the other people. I had 2 of my children at the same time working in a place called Coney Island. They were revered by their supervisors because they knew how to make change, even if the machines didn't work. The cashiers were in the
you mean they knew how
the cash machines didn't operate because they went on power failure or something. They knew how to make change. They did it in their head.
Son of a gun, we can't have this.
And his daughter worked at the winter in Sharon. When they lost power, she was the only one who could do the math in her head to make change in sales tax. But she had to go from floor to floor during a power outage to make sure people, okay, bring the sale, this is the cost, this is the tax, so on and so forth. Up and down, up and down. They learned how to think for themselves. They don't teach that in school anymore. Homeschool is a great thing for your kids. They will adapt to social situations. Man, by that time, I think that's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, one comment. Winterborn said, so you had a few months off. Did you teach the bird to say quirk? And G.I. Joseph answered it just perfect. Winter Daryl was not off. He was pulling his hair out, trying to get the video and the audio to work in here on YouTube for us. You got it, Jack. I mean, GI. If there are no kids, that's the end of the show. We will see you next week. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, spread the word that we're back. Everybody you can think of. So that we can get our numbers back up. Okay? Well, at that point, now let me figure out how to do this. Where was that?
I figure out how to reverse the camera.
Yeah, I